This interview is brought to you by Verizon. When the Navy and the Marine Corps look to securely and effectively modernize their network and voice communications in the continental United States or outside the contiguous United States, Verizon's suite of services, solutions, and contract vehicles are there to help meet mission needs.
Hi, I'm Jordan McDonald, staff writer with GovCIO Media and Research, and I'm joined by Brian Campo, Deputy CIO and Chief Data and AI Officer at the Coast Guard. Hi, Brian. Thanks for joining us.
I appreciate it.
Brian, the Coast Guard's just finished what it calls its tech revolution after, if I understand it, 4 years. Could you explain to us what that is and why it's so important?
Yeah, absolutely. The technology revolution for the Coast Guard was a huge initiative. As you said, spanning 3 to 4 years. It was a major investment for us. What we tried to do is we tried to look across the entire technology portfolio for the Coast Guard and understand where we needed to make investments so that we could get after things like connectivity, trying to put better technology in the hands of our service members, and then really trying to think about how can we improve the mission by making strategic investments in certain parts of the IT portfolio. It was very successful. I think we don't necessarily feel like we're done, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to move into some other areas now. So the lines of effort that were associated with the technology revolution have sort of evolved into things more like transformation, thinking about things like technology modernization, and then thinking about things like talent management. So moving away from IT as the focus to the technology revolution and moving more into the mission elements. And so how do we take the investments we made and then turn them into outcomes that are focused on our mission elements?
And so could you explain to me how this contributes to the larger DoD CJAD C2 mission?
Absolutely. So C2 was one of the lines of effort within the technology revolution. And from that sprouted our Next Gen C2 program. So we took our program office that was focused on command and control, built a new entire effort from the ground up. So not necessarily looking at the existing capabilities that we had, but taking a new and interesting look at the way that we're delivering C2. So almost like a greenfield look at our C2 capability portfolio. We started with understanding the data and the processes. From those data and processes, we then started to think about where does our C2 meet our mission elements. So again, focusing on how do we deliver mission. And then the influx of all of the Indo-PACOM requirements, our new cutters that we're putting out, some of the change in the operational posture that we have. It forced us to really look at C2 from a very different lens, and then bringing in some of the uncrewed capabilities that we had, we really started to think about how do we proliferate sensors, how do we take that data, bring it to where it needs to be, and then how do we give a consistent portfolio of applications for folks to consume it.
And so understanding this revolution, this modernization, thinking about all of this in a different lens, how do you balance that with, the advent of more risk?
So, along with risk, I'd also talk about technical debt, right? So generally technical debt is leading to risk. We are continuing to make serious investments in trying to approach our technical debt. We do have a portfolio that is aging. We've got cutters that have been around for a long, long time. We have capabilities that sometimes didn't get the attention that they needed. And so we are carrying a technology debt. We talk about our portfolio being about $1 billion, but we have about $500 million on top of that of unfunded capability needs that we have. And so that really comes across as technical debt, or you could say technical risk. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect is as we are looking at the security posture, as we're looking at moving into the Indo-PACOM AOR, there's requirements for us to be able to serve with strike groups, be in the AOR itself. We're thinking about risk very differently, and that's causing us to really reconsider some of the things that we're doing. Add in things like zero trust, add in all of the new security requirements that are coming. It's really, really difficult. So we are re-envisioning the way that we're doing modernization that is sort of following on with the Navy and its high risk reviews. We're looking at not just how do we authorize systems, but how do we actually review the risk that they're adding to the portfolio.
And so thinking about CJAD C2, the combined aspect of it, how is the Coast Guard using this revolution, this modernization, to integrate more with Indo-PACOM?
Yeah, I mean, when we think about where we're going to use C2, Indo-Pacom, and I would say the southeast, so our D7, which is the southeast of the United States, those are the two areas where we're doing the majority of our C2 work. Indo-Pacom definitely has the more demanding requirements. We've got good domestic investments in our D7, which is, again, that Florida, Puerto Rico chain. We've got good investments there. We've got good coverage of our cutters. Where we're going to see some challenges as we move into Indo-Pacom. When you think about, we don't have the same investments, we don't have the same connectivity, we don't have the same places to bring back. So we don't have headquarters, we don't have a district established in the Indo-Pacom AOR. We're working at putting assets in Guam, we're working at trying to understand and support that. But there are specific challenges that we've got. We're pulling more and more sensor data, but what are we doing with it? Do we bring it back domestically to process it, to only send it back out there? How can we do more processing at the edge? How can we think about getting the right capabilities deployed with our cutters? How do we manage the demand of the IT to put them out there? There are a lot of interesting challenges. I don't have answers to all of them. That's where some of the investment comes in, but we are really working well with Department of Homeland Security, with DoD, with Indo-Pacom, with Congress to help us figure out where to go with that. There'll be a lot of investment needs. We're definitely looking for industry to bring us good solutions and help us understand that, especially if you can think about where to put sensors, how to put them on, again, uncrewed vessels. All of that will really help us as we think about where Indo-Pacom needs to go, especially with the command and control side of it.
Thank you so much for sharing with us how Coast Guard is integrating with Indo-Pacom and CJAD C2. Looking forward to seeing any new developments on that front.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it as well.